everybody. Welcome back to the 81 Reasons Pod. It's your boy Marcus. We got our co-host here, Zach Edwards,
What up? What up?
ready
What
to
up?
hear his story, ready to share what kind of his struggles, everything he's overcame. Growing up in Middletown, played at UC as well with myself. Came in the class of 2012, gray shirt himself,
Yeah.
underdog. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Counted him out. Looking forward to hearing my boy Zach and everything that kind of made him who he is today. So I welcome y'all back to the second episode, and let's get into it. So
yes, sir.
Zach,
For sure.
how we feeling today, bro?
Man, we good, man. Another day, man. Every day comes with its ups. Every day comes with its downs. You know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to stay even keel.
Amen, bro. That's life.
Hey,
All right.
facts.
Yeah. So as for Zach Edwards, man, growing up in Middletown, how was Middletown like?
I mean, for me, it was. I mean, everything you think in a small city. You like kind of back to what I said about the days. You have your goods, you have your bads. For me, I mean, I was surrounded by a lot of bads, but so I was surrounded by bads, but like I had good people around me that kept me away from it, if that makes sense. It definitely had its ups and downs, but I mean, it taught me a lot because I think being in the environment that I was in, I got, I guess, well rounded in life. Um, Seeing what people shouldn't be doing, seeing what people should be doing, and how things are done certain ways and how they shouldn't be done. And just growing up, I mean, that kind of helped you grow up a little bit faster as well. So, I mean, Mother Middletown was, I think, one of the best things that ever happened for me and the development of the young man I was growing into at that point in time. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, growing up in Middletown was, I mean, it was great. And if I look back at it today, it was great. I mean, it made me who I am today.
Yeah, no, bro, I get it. When it comes to who we are today, it comes with how I'm saying how we're brought up. You talked about, I mean, kind of just being exposed to certain things and kind of knowing right from wrong. Who gave you like direction? Was it just yourself, intuition? Was it just kind of, I don't know, like we had said last time, what I'm saying, a smart person learns from their mistakes, a wise person learns from other mistakes. So other people's
Um,
mistakes. So you were wise at a young age, it sounds like.
yeah, I mean, I think I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to have the family, like to be born into the family that I was born into. Because I think my family's all over the spectrum. And in some aspects, we cover all bases. But I think being around that, like I said, made me a well-rounded person. So I mean, yeah, I made my mistakes. I mean, I still make mistakes to this day, but I think it was more of other people making mistakes and letting me know about their mistakes so that I wouldn't make the same ones. So I mean, I credit that to my entire family. I mean, if you know my family at all, you know we're very close knit. I mean, yeah, we might argue, bicker, whatnot, but I mean, it's family over everything. And that's just the way I grew up, and we all kind of push each other in different ways. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, bro. And I mean, I know you. The people don't know you, but the youngest of is it? I believe four brothers total.
Yeah, I got three older brothers. Yes, I am the baby. I'm the baby.
The young pup.
Yeah.
So you got to learn from the older brothers' mistakes,
Oh yeah, for
trying to
sure,
show them the ropes.
for
Good man. Well,
sure.
how was it like? I mean, as for your family household dynamic, having four brothers, just the household you lived in. I mean, what's the age gap? My brother, he was about 6 years older than me. I've only got one sibling, so just I don't know. I guess paint that picture how it was, kind of being the baby growing up and parenting wise. Like even my parents, like bro, like basically it was night and day from how they raised my brother to how they raised me.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, parents are trying to
Uh,
figure it out, but being a baby, how was that dynamic?
uh, I mean, you let my brothers tell it. it was the best thing for me. They hated it, but I mean, I didn't see what they would hate, but I get it. But I mean, looking back, my oldest brother I think is 30. I want to say 36, 37 maybe, and then Prentice, which is the second to oldest, is 35, 35 I think, and then Jeremiah is 32, just turned 32 in April, so I'll be 31. So I mean, the age gap is there, but I think Chris being my oldest, I mean, we spent a lot more time when I was younger together because my mom worked night shift. She was LPN, and him being older brother, it would literally just be me and him while Prentice and Jeremiah were with their dads. Because at that time, I mean, my dad was young when he had me. I want to say 18.
Right.
So I mean, he was still trying to figure out his life at that time. But if you know my dad to this day, me and him are like the best of friends. But I mean, at the same time, he was growing as well. So I mean, it was really my mom for the most part, my mom and my oldest brother Chris, from what I can remember. And then like when she be working, we'll be either me and him. He'll be watching me, or I'll go over to my aunt's, which I love that lady does today. And she'll take care of me. And then if that wasn't it, I would be at my dad's mother, so my grandmother or my grandfather on his side. So I mean, I think I got growing up being the baby. Like I'm the baby on my mom's side, but I'm the only child on my dad. So it's like a double whammy. A lot of people would say, as far as like being catered to. But I mean, they all taught me in different ways, and it was never like some like my brothers would say I was baby, but I mean I think I was pushed a little bit harder, um, so to say, especially from them because I mean they were older and they've been through things that I haven't and experiencing that I haven't at their ages. But I mean it was great growing up. I mean even to this day, me and my brothers are the closest as ever. So I mean it was great growing up, being the baby of four
Yeah.
and having such a strong figure, my mom being able to take care of us.
No, absolutely. I mean, shout out to Mom Dukes, Rocky,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, all day.
take care of a man. And just when it comes to even, I mean, let's talk about the dynamic about, a mom raising you, a dad in a different household. How was it growing up with, what I'm saying, just that kind of dynamic?
So I mean, it was. I mean, for those who know my mother's a strong figure. Like she wants for nothing. Like she'll figure out a way to go get whatever she needs to get. But I mean, I don't want to say it was like just my mom because I mean, at that time she was with my stepfather, John Berg. For those who don't know, which is Jeremiah's father. And he took care of me in those times, treated me like his own. So I can't sit here and say it was all my mom, but my mom did foster a lot of that. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was good. I mean, and it's not just saying. I know I'm taking it as you're asking, like, how was it just having a female raise me? But I had a lot of like growing up. I had a lot of males in my life. Like my uncle, I think, is one of the biggest reasons I'm where I'm at today, as far as when it comes to athletically. But I've always had male role models as far as coaches, etc. Just growing up.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess talking about your role models and everything, kind of how you are growing up, sports wise. I mean, how'd you get into, not to say sports growing up? I mean, I know you played basketball, football. Did you play any other sports?
Growing up, actually, the first sport I ever played was soccer, and I want to say I was pretty good. I always played 2 years up with my brother Jeremiah. Um, so I
Okay.
mean, yeah,
Okay.
and I want to credit like I just said about my uncle, him being the reason I am right now. I was playing soccer, and then him and my mom had got into it because like out of everybody other than I think Jeremiah at the time, Jeremiah did play football, but I think out of all my brothers, I was the only one that didn't play football. And him and my mom had got into it, and some words were being said about me and how it was soft that I was only playing soccer. Even though I was playing 2 years up, man, I was starting on the team that was playing 2 years. So I mean, but my uncle saw that as me being soft and like we said earlier, the baby, and being catered to. My mom didn't like that too much, and they went back and forth for the longest. And eventually, my uncle won her over, and I mean that's when I invested everything into football. I mean, because I just on the soccer field, I just love the contact, and then you put on pads when it comes to football. I think that just made it even better. So I mean, shout out to my uncle for that. But if not, I've been like a young Pele.
A young Pele, huh? What could have been? What could
What
have
could have
been?
been, bro?
Middletown legend coming from the pitch.
It's from the pitch, baby.
Well, I mean, growing up, it sounds like I mean you had a good kind of I don't know. I mean, just from father figures, mom, brothers. Um, I mean, I guess moving into like high school, as you're kind of starting to become the person you are, you're starting to kind of adapt to, I mean, what you were from elementary to junior high to applying it to high school sports. I mean, how did like playing up at a young age, how did that, you know what I'm saying, factor into sports? I know just we talked about when I was doing it, but competitiveness wise, you're 8 years old, you're playing with 10 years old, you're gonna get better. So,
Yeah.
I mean, was that through all the other sports too, or like how was that kind of transition into high school? How did that kind of make you into like the
Uh, I mean, the only sport like growing up, as far as like little league, was I think 1 year Pee Wee team I played on. I think so. In Middletown, we all back then we all like it was so many kids, and it was like extremely populated, and it was like multiple Pee Wee teams that played at one park, and we all played each other. It was all Middletown kids, and it was a point where it's like the age gap will be a year or 2 years, or you're saying the same year, depending on the team. So I mean, even then, playing Pee Wee football, we would play guys that were older,
Mhm.
and sometimes I mean they got the best of us, but I will say at times we were the better team. I think we just, I mean, competitive wise, like everybody that I played with, I always wanted to be the best, and that's from Pee Wee all the way up until high school. Um, and I think that is what made uh, me a better person, a better athlete, is the competitiveness of, yeah, we might be younger, but we're gonna sit here and bring the fight to you. We might lose, but we're gonna let you know we gave you everything we got. And I think that transpired into high school, because I all the way up. I mean, we were dominating in middle school. I think we only lost to I want to say Coleraine my eighth grade year and seventh grade year. Other than that, we were dominating. And then take it into high school. Uh, we're going through camp. Freshman, we had, I want to say we had two fields. We had two fields. Yeah, we had two fields right outside of Tiger Ellison, bro. And it's the varsity on one field and then the freshmen on the far field. And we're going to each other, and like it's just like night and day with some of the guys that came in our freshman year. And quarterback at the time, Ricky Davis, my guy, Slick Rick, he would just drop back and just throw it as far as you can. And next you see be just boom catching it. And I remember one of the varsity coaches coming over, I think maybe the second day, and try to get me to come over to varsity and do. And like I know we talked about me playing up, but dude, he's like, yeah, Coach Kraus wants you to come over here to varsity and try to get some reps. I'm like, dude, I'm all of a buck 45, bro. I'm like, no, there's not a chance. Like, so a lot of people don't know that. Like, Coach Kraus had asked me to come over to varsity, like within the first couple weeks of me or of us getting into camp, and I turned it down, like completely turned down. Like, I guess you could say I was scared, but I was not ready for that moment at that time mentally. I'm like, dude, no, I'll be the smallest dude over there. You're not about to hurt me. And I mean,
Oh my god.
yeah, I was like, nah, dude, I'm good.
Nah, he was tucking, man.
I
Yay.
was all day. I'm not gonna say
Hey,
that I wasn't.
I get it, bro. I mean, what do you think that let's say that experience playing varsity as a freshman would have brought you? I mean, do you think you would have had some different, not to say tenacity to you? I mean, that's a not a lot of people do that. Play freshman
I mean,
or as a freshman play varsity.
yeah, I mean, I mean, eventually, I obviously went home and was telling my mom and all and my family members about it, and they persuaded me to actually just give it a try. So I actually ended up, I started as a freshman, um, started at kick returner, and then we had a slot that I would rotate with because he played defense as well. Kevin Watts, which was a dude, one of Middletown's greatest. Like I don't think he gets enough credit for the type of guy that he was, the type of athlete that he was. But I actually ended up starting as a freshman. So I mean, that experience was definitely it was top tier. Honestly, I can't sit here and say enough about it. It was definitely top tier, and I was forever grateful because I mean, like you said, not too many freshmen get to play, especially at high caliber schools and with a lot of athletes. Not a lot too many freshmen are able to play varsity their freshman year. So I mean, I was very blessed about it, and I think it instilled even more competitiveness in it because I didn't want to be because of course me being a freshman, it was like, oh, they brought this freshman over here, so it was competition every day. I had to prove myself every day that I was
Yeah,
worthy enough of being up there, and I mean that just made me the competitor that I am today. I mean, even to this day, I'm still competing. No matter what it is, I'm trying to compete at it.
right. No, I mean, goes hand in hand and exactly what I was asking. So, I mean, playing varsity as a freshman, not a lot of people get to do it. So, I mean, that did mold you into just a dog, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
especially too, I mean, growing up in, not to say Middletown, but transitioning into college, like, bro, you weren't the biggest
nah.
either. You came in as a corner. We'll get there, but like, I'm like, bro, not that. I mean, bro, you was scrawny. I mean,
Nah,
but
bro, I know, bro. I
it's
know.
crazy how the transformation when you get to college though, just like them type of workouts and that type of atmosphere and that type of grind, what that brings.
Nah,
But
and
what
what you saying that though, like my size, bro, and I tell this story now, and then my homeboys they know it. Dude, I've never worked out. Like we would go into the weight room, and I would go sit in the back corner. Like it was known that I wasn't lifted. I
mm-mm.
I had a saying. I was like, it was the Bowie Miles, man. It's God given. So every time
Oh,
somebody tried to give me the lift, I was that turd. I was
oh,
that
big
turd, bro.
bird,
I
man.
was that
Like,
turd. I was. I will. I'll admit it. But I mean, but my coaches always found a way to humble me though, and my friends as well. But I mean, that was my saying throughout high school. Dude, this God given. Like I haven't lifted up until this point, so why would I lift now?
yeah,
And I mean, looking back on it though, if I could do it all over again, I would definitely get in the weight room. I
in the
definitely
weight
would.
room.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
get it. I mean, what other than the weight room, what else would you tell yourself growing up in high school, just young Zach Edwards, 14, 15, 16, trying to figure out going through the recruiting process? What other kind of what would you have done different or what would you tell yourself growing up that you could do just to be a better person, a better man, a better athlete, better teammate overall? What would you do different?
would. I think that's a good question. I think honestly, when you said it, the first thing I thought of is like it's a saying that I tell my kids now, man, and I try to harp on it, man. Be where your feet are, so be present. I think back then I was too focused on the future and not really honing in on what was at hand, like what was going on at that moment. Like looking back on it all seems like a blur because I'm always thinking, okay, if I do this, I can be the best and I can go here or I can go here. It was never really enjoying actually actual high school experience, high school football. Like don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it. But when it came to sports, I was always thinking about what's next, what's next, what's next.
Right.
So I would definitely tell myself back then, man, just be where your feet are, be present. Definitely be present.
That's good advice, bro. I mean, that too, and even like I don't know. I mean, some people that's the last time they go put on that helmet, put on them pads, and just like
Yeah,
you never know what the next step may bring. An injury may occur. Um, but just yeah, I mean, through high school, I mean, growing up, you're coaching kids in high school now. Sometimes, like at that age, you think you know it all.
yeah,
I mean,
all day.
even going into college, like they don't want to hear what the coaches are saying or the parents. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, if you can have a sense of like just awareness, gratefulness, and just appreciation to the game, and just take every day and play like it's your last, because like you never know when that flip may switch and maybe your last time being on that field. Uh,
Absolutely.
but no, be where your feet are. It's good. So I guess high school kind of football, basketball were your two sports in high school, right?
Football, basketball, and I've lettered 2 years in track. I ran my freshman year and I ran my junior year. I got hurt sophomore year with an ankle, so I took it off. And then senior year, for whatever reason, if I could go back again, I would run track. I decided not to. I was like, dude, I'm just like so over track. I'm just like, because I got track is one of those sports, bro. I'm like, dude, this is so pointless. Like, if you think it in hindsight, all sports are kind of pointless. But like track, if you look at it, bro, you just run in circles. Like, this is just stupid to me. And at that
I
point in time,
I get it. I wish I did track my freshman year. I did it like halfway through the season because they interrupted with AAU basketball.
mm,
But I mean, being a running back and just also being a defensive back, like I don't know, it's something where like my speed it would have helped with that,
yeah,
and just like I don't know, that's something I look back on like, man, I wish I would have kept on pursuing track. AAU was fun and all, but like you never know what you want to do kind of growing up, and also you're out there in that heat,
yeah.
running, running,
Track
and
meets were
running.
long, like so long.
Oh yeah, I mean the meets was fun. I mean practice was the only thing that I'm like, man,
I think the
this
practice for us was a lot. I don't know. I could do the practice because it was like a lot shorter than the actual meet. Because like you, I mean, you have to sit there the entire time, no matter what events you have. You have
yeah,
to wait the entire time until everything's over. And it's like I was over everything by the time I got done with my events. I'm like, all right, can we leave? You know what I mean? And yeah, because I already didn't
you
like
gotta
track.
take
It's
that
like,
bus ride home. You ain't
man,
got
oh
a
my
car ride
god.
home out in
And none of the meets were like
wherever.
ever like really close. It's like Middletown's like kind of in the middle of nowhere, so to say. So you had to drive back no matter where you went.
Right, I got you. Okay, well, let's talk about. I mean, not to say high school wise, y'all had a lot of success.
Yeah,
Definitely a lot of years. You had a lot of winning seasons, making the playoffs. Um, Great overall team. I mean, we got a chance to play you guys. We touched on it a little bit our senior year. We had a matchup, but I mean, how was that growing up? I mean, wins, losses, coaches. I mean, even just when it comes to teammates, you guys had some dogs out there, bro. I
yeah,
mean,
dog, we did, dude. I think, and I could be wrong, but I honestly don't see it being wrong. I think my class had the most wins out of 4 years that we were there, like overall. So I think we went, I want to say 6-4 first year, missed the playoffs. Then that following year, I want to say we won 10 games. It was back to back years. My junior year, I know we went 10-0, and then ended up losing first round of playoffs. So we went 10-1. We lost first round of Braxton Miller and Wayne. That was like the best eighth seed ever. Was it 8 seeds or 10 seed? Whatever. I can't remember.
yeah, that's a
That was
tough one.
in Ohio. Period, bro. Like, come on.
That's
Like,
a tough one.
yeah, I mean,
That
and we
was
went to that was the first year that and I came. It was like so long that Middletown has hosted a playoff game.
okay.
So I mean, that was big hype then, and then like Braxton comes in, and I mean they beat us 21-0. Um, I had a detrimental drop first half. I mean, all the way up to the fourth quarter, it was 7-0, dude. So I mean, yeah, 21-0 is definitely on the scoreboard. It's a blowout. I mean, but it was 7-0 all the way up into the fourth quarter. I dropped a pass that would have tied the game. um, I want to say first half. So I mean, I want to
Who
say
was that?
fourth
Junior
quarter.
year?
Yeah, that was junior year. So I mean,
That'd
that
have been
was yeah. I mean, that was yeah. That was tough. But like I said, I think my class had the most wins. So I mean, we knew how to win. And with that being said, I mean, I think Jason Krause came in his first year 6-4. I think they might have been 4-6 the year before, or maybe 5-5, or just I think they were just at 500 the year before under Ron John. But Kraus coming in his first year going 6-4, I think really laid the groundwork for the type of players we wanted to be, and the type of team that we wanted to have. Like you said, we had multiple athletes everywhere, um, and I think that just says a lot for that coaching staff because having that many athletes, and if you grew up around us, you knew the type of characters we
You
were.
knew what was coming.
Yeah, we were characters. I will say that we were that the group that we had. I think the last class that was actually I think that 2010 class. I know the '09 class definitely laid the groundwork because I mean they knew how to work hard. I think Ron John pushed them, so they kept us afloat when it came to working hard, work ethic. But that 2010 class, dude, I mean they top to bottom. I think they might have been one of the most prolific classes. They had dudes everywhere, quarterback, running back, corner, safety, kicker, receivers. I mean, they were loaded, bro. Up front, they were loaded. But I mean, there's a lot of egos out there, and we were good, and we will let you know that we were good. So shout out to that coaching staff for dealing with us for 3 years. Um, because after that third year, going into my senior year, that's when Jason Krause had left to go to Fairfield, and then we got a guy known as Troy Everhart, who's now at the Troy Trojans.
Good
Uh,
old Troy Trojan head coach
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Crazy how that works.
So before I say that, he's my guy. Like he's my guy. I love Troy to this day. But dude, he came in, and at this time I'm playing receiver. I made first team 2 out of those 3 years at receiver. Um, and then coming in this next year, we got Troy Everhart coming. I'm like, who is Troy Everhart? And oh, he won a state championship at when was my okay. So he's good. But then they broke down, he ran the triple. I said, the triple. I said, bro. I said, I'm not doing this. I am not about to sit here and block an entire season. So a lot of people don't know, dude. I was looking to transfer, bro.
Oh,
Going to senior year, me and one of my other homeboys, we were about to leave. We're like, dude, I'm not about to sit here and play block all day. And I mean, for granted, I mean, it worked out for us. I mean, we had Jalen Marshall at quarterback, so you put him behind a system that can run the rock. It's a recipe for like wins all day.
oh,
But
bro, yeah. I
as
mean,
for me, I'm like, bro, no, this is
I
not
get it.
me. You know what I'm saying? I want to
As a
score touchdowns.
receiver, he like, I want the rock.
Yeah,
And I ain't getting no tough type of
like
touches.
what are we doing? Like, come on, man. And granted, the year before though, we were still in the spread, but like our offense, with how dynamic Jalen was, him catching it out of the shotgun, let him see everything a lot faster. So a lot of our offense the previous year was, let him do his thing, but like you still got your touches. You know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, triple, I'm not about to get no touches. So like, nah. Um, so I mean, long story short, when it comes to that, is obviously ended up staying. Because I had a mentor of mine tell me, you start something, you gotta finish it. And I started at Middletown, and it's like I can't leave who I am because of what I want to do or what I think is best for me in that aspect of playing receiver. So I stuck it out. Obviously, had a conversation with Everhart, and we decided the best option for me was to go to the other side of the ball. I mean, he sat there and told me, he said, "Dude, do you want to play at the next level?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "There's a lot of receivers like you, if not better." He said, "But if you want to go to the next level, you might want to switch to the other side of the ball, and because of what your mind and the way you think, the way you process the game, there's not too many defensive players that does that. So I think with this offense, you come in certain packages, but you're our defensive guy, and that obviously, I mean, it worked out well for me. Earned a few scholarships
Yeah.
throughout that whole process, but it was a weird transition, but I'm forever grateful for it, especially with Everhart. A lot that he did in that 1 year, I still abide by. As far as like he came in, I mean, he's not from Middletown, but he said if there's trash in your house, you would pick it up, right? So everything that was in the facility, whether you did or you didn't do it, it's trash on the ground, you just pick it up. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Like before that, I mean, I wouldn't be rude, but it wasn't no yes, sir. It wasn't none of that. But to this day, I got like people my age that get mad at me for saying I'm like, that's just the way that I am. Like that's the way that I'm programmed now. You know what I mean?
No,
So forever
absolutely. I
grateful
mean,
for him.
that goes a long way, especially like more of a militant
Hmm.
mindset. I mean, just paying respect where respect's due, anywhere and everywhere. And I mean, Troy, just from my encounters with him, he's now the head coach. I mean, what he's done for a lot of the players, even just, I'm sure he helped kind of you guys with recruiting. I mean, if you're only playing defense for 1 year and you get offers, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
that don't just come out of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure he was making plays and everything, but also gotta credit the guys that kind of get you and get other people to the next level. And just also just as a coach, you understand because you're a coach now at Moeller. I coached as well, but just like I don't know what you're trying to instill in those young boys is just yeah, you want to make them into young men.
yeah,
So like what you're telling them, it'll go a long way. Sometimes it might go in one ear at the other. Sometimes you just might have to keep hammering whatever it is you're trying to mold them into. A lot. I mean, some coaches have certain approaches to it. Some good, some bad. I mean, there's not one way to coach, but
right.
being able for you to say that he's done what he's done and kind of molded you into the man you are and just having that type of respect, I mean, that's awesome for sure. And he's also, I mean, at Troy, he's helped some kids get to the college level.
Hmm.
But I mean, Troy now we were Division 2, so we kind of, I'd say a little bit smaller school now, kind of more so um, take what you've got kind of deal. I know Middletown's still D1. How many Division 1 recruits did your class have?
Uh,
Or even just go to college. I know y'all had like EJ play at UC with us, yourself,
yeah, we had a
Jalen
few guys. I mean, just thinking off of D1, you go EJ Junior, you'll go Cody Quinn,
with the
you'll go
Kentucky.
myself. Um, was that? I think that was the. I mean, you had Giovanni McKnight. He went D1 for basketball, but I mean, he was a football player.
Yeah,
Frank Frazier, and then we had a few guys go to smaller schools. Like Andre McDonald went to Urbana. I'm trying to think of my guy Jalen Herring, dude. He was a dog. I forget where he went. Um, but I mean, we had some. We had a magnitude of guys going, and then obviously with Jalen, he was going to Ohio State at the time. So I mean, we had a magnitude of guys that were going to the next level to play college ball, and I think
right,
that was a credit to Troy working his tail off to get guys recruited. Not to say they weren't already, but like I know Troy went above and beyond when it came to recruiting things. Like he stayed shipping kids in and out to meet coaches throughout the school day. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we know they're gonna call so and so down. No, he was if it was a small school, he's calling some of his smaller school guys down to come meet them. Like
right.
he
No,
worked
so
his tail off to get kids recruited. So I mean, kudos to him.
yeah, another cat you ain't mentioned. He might be the biggest one of them all. I believe it might have been not to say football wise he took that route, but um, played baseball. Uh,
Oh, Kyle Schwarber. Yeah.
what class was he in?
He was the year before me, so he was there before Troy. He graduated the year before Troy and I got there. But yeah, man, I mean, his class they had dudes as well, man. I mean, uh, like I said, and then we can go on like the class before that, 2010. You had Youngstown State, you had Bowling Green. Trying to think, Eric went. I'm trying to think of where Eric went. You had Miami, Ohio.
Basically, y'all producing
Yeah,
college athletes. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you want to go to Middletown, then you basically you're gonna get to the next level.
yeah.
There's a higher percentage going to Middletown, at least not to say back in the day, maybe still to this day, but sounds like there's a good run of college
yeah,
athletes that came out of Middletown, which
absolutely.
I can't say the same for Troy. I mean, there's
Nah, yeah,
honest other than myself, there really wasn't a lot. I mean, I went D1, some like very, very small schools, but like I don't know, it's just crazy. I don't know. I mean, growing up and just looking back at certain things, and just kind of how that all panned out. But I guess moving on, we're done with the high school kind of
yeah,
talk. Let's move into college. We
yeah, for sure,
kind of
for sure.
touched touch bases on the high school side. So, how was recruiting? I mean, how was that recruiting process? Who was recruiting you as a I don't know out of high school? What kind of schools were looking at you? Um, just how'd that go? When did it start?
I want to say, I want to say everything started going like right after junior year. So that little off season, where guys are going to camps and whatnot, heading into senior year. It's actually probably around this time, June, July. Um, but I mean, it started. I want to say with the MAC schools. I mean, back then the MAC schools would go. I think I want to say Lakota West would host a big like camp, and like all the MAC schools will be there. So that's really where the recruiting process started for me. I think my first official offer was Bowling Green, um, and then and that was at receiver, so I was stoked. I ain't gonna lie, I was like, oh yeah. And then Miami, Ohio came in, um, and they were on the fence on DB and receiver, but I mean, I still had a chance at receiver, so
Yeah,
I was hyped, stoked about that one.
it's probably
One,
looking at a young Dion at that point in
yeah,
time. They like,
hey,
oh, offense and defense could have
hey,
been Travis Hunter.
hey, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
I
Could
was
have been
just
the
like
first, nah. But
after Miami. I mean, what other schools kind of
I
came your
want to
way?
say I really want to say I had Akron. I can't remember. I think either Akron might have been the first one, to be completely honest with you. Akron might have been the first one, and they eventually pulled out once other schools started offering. They're just like, like
And they pulled out.
yeah, they were just
That's
like, yeah. I
they
mean, because
revolted.
Miami pulled their offer too once I got UC, because they
Really?
were like, yeah, because a lot of people. So I'm okay. I'm gonna go through. So I had Akron, Bowling Green, Miami, Ohio. I had Cincinnati, and I had Pitt, all official offers. Um, I went up to going into senior year. I went up to Wisconsin, and mind you, I'm still a receiver at this time. I went to Wisconsin, like they were heavy, like they come up here to camp. Like it's not even like there was coaches tell you like, oh, they send you a camp invite, but like even my coach at the time was like, nah, you should really go up there and entertain this. I'm like, all right, Big Ten, you know what I'm saying? I could, there was a few guys. I think Michael Jordan from Trotwood, I want to say his name. I played with him in the 7-on-7, and he
Yep.
was up there at the time. Darius Hillary was up there at the time from Sycamore. So it's like I knew of dudes that was up there. So like, all right, can't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? I went up there and just some things happened, like environment wise, that I wasn't accustomed to, and it kind of like from so it's like I don't know if I would be comfortable up here. And then on top of that, I'm a receiver, and I'm in a meeting, and they bring in the safeties coach, and he's talking about me coming there playing safety. So the offer was coming. If I'm look like the offer was coming, like I literally young, dumb, I don't know. I said, so y'all want me to play safety? I'm like, honestly, sir, I wouldn't come to this school. Like I already felt some type of way about the environment. And then like play safety. Dude, I was like we said earlier, I was all of a buck 50,
Yeah.
45. Like
Yeah.
play safety in the Big Ten. And at that time, the Big Ten was running the rock, like
Yeah.
religiously. I'm thinking business decisions. No, I'm good. Like I'm
Yeah.
cool. So I
Yeah.
literally in the meeting I said, honestly, sir, I don't think I can play safety here. Like I don't think that will work out for me. And had the camp later on that day, we actually just left. Like we already paid for the camp, already registered. I told my parents, I said, yeah, this is not it. Like I don't even want to entertain this anymore. Uh, so that was yeah. So that was one of the biggest offers I like kind of took myself out of. And
Drop the
then
ball.
another yeah. And then another
Drop the
offer
ball.
was during the Jim Tressel. Well, a lot of people during the Jim Tressel era. Uh, Coach Peterson, who's actually from Middletown, played at Ohio State. He was the recruiting coordinator in our area, and he would always come to Middletown. And then I think he saw me playing DB as well, and he would come in all the time and we would talk. And then he actually had me and my dad up Penn State game, and We're talking. He's talking to my dad. I'm sitting on the sideline before the game. And then my dad never told me this, I think, until like 2 years ago, bro, which is kind of crazy. He said him and Peterson were talking and literally said he Peterson told him like within a few weeks we're gonna pull the trigger on this offer. And then that same season is when Tressel got fired, bro.
Oh.
Yes. So I mean, and that's neither here nor there. I don't think Peterson would have lied to my dad. I mean, with us being Middletown guys, I mean, he always like shot it straight forward with us. I mean, even to this day, whenever I talk to Coach Peterson, he's shooting it straight forward. We still have a good relationship. So yeah, I mean, those were my those were my I think it was like four official ones, and then those other two were up in the air, but I'm pretty sure that they were coming.
Let's
Uh,
hear this. If Ohio State gives you the offer, where are you going?
at that point in time, I was definitely going to Ohio State at that offer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, I definitely was.
Nah, I feel
I
it.
mean, I can't even say. I mean, growing up in Ohio, bro, it's kind of like hard if you get that
It's
offer.
it's inevitable, bro. You're a
Yeah,
Buckeye fan one way or another, unless
yeah.
your family grows
It's
up
in
and
your
like has
face,
a
bro.
Michigan.
Like it's in your face. My dad went to Ohio State, so I mean, it's just in your face.
Yeah.
But I'm a Bearcat, so I die though. Don't get it twisted now.
Nah, I decided to hear that on the record. Um,
Yeah.
nah, I mean, honestly, that was something where that was a school I always kind of wished gave me that offer and
Mhm.
whatnot. I mean, I did have Big Ten kind of looking at me. Like I said, I closed my recruiting process a little early, but there was a camp. It was a Nike invite, Nike Elite Camp.
Yeah, I went
I
to
don't know.
that
Did you
at
go to
Ohio
that?
State.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like junior year.
yeah,
Went there, bro, and I did what needed to be done to get it.
bro.
Hey,
So my cousin was at Ohio State at the time, Andre Amos, bro,
uh-huh.
and he was a corner. So and I was a receiver at the time. So it was me and Jalen up there, um, and you know, my cousin being from Middletown, he was all like, we do a lot of talking, bro. Like that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking crazy and just throwing corners out there, bro. And I'm telling you, I'm frying the corners that he was throwing out there. And at that time, if you like won camper, you would go to Oregon, right? Wasn't
Mhm.
that you got to go to Oregon for something?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely about to go because I'm over here cooking cats, bro. But at that time, it was more. It was I don't know. I don't want to say political because dudes that did go were
Oh,
like,
bro, it's bias. It was bias for
yeah,
sure. I
dudes
mean,
that
I'm
went
the
though were dudes, but like at that camp, they didn't do anything.
yeah.
Like shout out to my boy Too Tall, man, Dwayne Stafford, bro. He was a dog. Ended up playing at
Oh, bro.
Oregon. Ended up playing at Oregon, but that camp, bro, I think he's like watched for the majority of the time. He probably
Yeah.
like did 2 reps, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was one of the receivers that went. I mean, rightfully so. He was a dude, man. He was
Oh, bro, yeah. I remember him and even Dolphus. He wasn't
a
really
yeah.
they
They were
I mean,
dudes, bro. They
yeah,
were
bro. They were
dudes.
grown men. I remember them from AAU basketball too. I mean,
Yeah, they
basically it was, I think, yeah, Dolphus, he was on All Ohio,
mhm.
Red, probably the best team you could play on.
Yeah,
Gave them
sure.
some
They was
close
dudes. They
battles.
always been dudes. Every
But
great
yeah, bro, they're recruiting guys from across the state, and I don't know what if you're that dude growing up. I mean, they're gonna treat you like that dude, and
yeah,
they ended up, what I'm saying, the office went to Ohio State, Stanford, Dwayne, is it Stafford or Stanford?
Stafford.
Stafford. He went to Oregon, um, just freak of athletes for
Yeah,
real, and I mean, they didn't really not to say have to. I'm not saying they didn't have to earn it, bro, but that was God given
yeah.
for,
That
for
they
folks
was
like that. I
they
mean,
were
that no.
man
Um,
childs, bro.
oh, bro, yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, growing up, high school wise was fun. So let's get into college, bro. So you was a gray shirt,
Mm-hmm.
going to UC. So what that entails is not coming in the summer, kind of sitting out that season, and coming in that uh, kind of first of the year, winter time after the season's said and done. Correct,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
right as spring ball is kind of coming up. I believe when did you touch down in January
Um,
of
I want to
2013?
say it was right after the season, so right after bowl season. So I guess it had to be January. We were doing winter workouts. I remember that. We started
Yeah.
off with the fourth quarters, bro.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
yeah. For those who know about fourth quarters, them Mud truckers right there.
Dog.
Hey, you
That was
might
the
that
first time I threw up during a football workout, bro. And
yeah.
that's like, nah, I'm good, bro. This is
What
not for me.
what they did in that bubble was just absolute torture.
It
They don't
was.
they don't understand if you wasn't in there in that bubble dying at 4 or 5 a.m. getting them fourth quarters done in,
The
especially
worst
with
was the
this.
board pushes and on mat drills. Oh my god.
Oh, bro. Yeah, they had those board pushes was wild. I mean, they just had you kind of doing the craziest things, bro. And but I mean, I don't know. Looking back at it, man, it definitely I don't know. It makes you either gonna fight or you gonna flight. And as a college athlete, you got competitors, you got dogs around you, you got guys wanting to get you better. Same with kind of growing up in Middletown. I mean, you had folks that was willing to push you. You got to earn your stripes and whatnot, and you got to kind of get to where you need to go, getting in there. So I mean, coming in to college, January or so, getting into winter workouts. Um, you came in as a corner, right?
Well, I came in, so I committed as a receiver. I, I,
Okay.
but when I got here, Coach Combs. So Coach Combs recruited me, obviously, when Butch Jones was not committed under Butch Jones. But Coach Combs would tell me all the time, dude, you're playing DB. I'm like, nah, but y'all offer. He said that doesn't matter. Once you get here, you're gonna be a DB. So I mean, I came in, honestly didn't know where I was gonna be. Um, and in my mindset, it was coming as safety. But like we said on the last show, like the coaching change during that period of time was crazy. Like the coaching change before we even did any of the positions was crazy. Because I was pretty sure I started with the safeties. Then Clint came in like a week after we had already started. I got moved to corners. And then yeah, Chris Moore beat me on the fade route. I pulled my hamstring, and I think that was the last of my corner days.
And
So
they said, "Oh, we done seen enough safety.
yeah, get him out of
He,
there. Yeah,
yeah, he ain't on no island here. Not
nah,
with mulatto. Hey,
nah,
I ain't
it's
gonna
not
lie.
happening.
That's a hard comp right there to get in and go ones with
And he
Simo
definitely threw me
himself.
in the fire.
Hey, 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 fight or flight. He
Hey,
flew on
get
that
up
one.
out of
He
there. I
said
flew up out of
Miami,
there.
Miami.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
yeah, man. I mean, I didn't know that. So I mean, as for kind of being recruited as a receiver, coming in as a corner, moving to safety, I mean, that's a lot to overcome. Not only that, your head coach that recruited you isn't there.
Yeah.
The recruiting coach that was recruiting you wasn't even there. I
Um,
mean, so you got a lot of unknown kind of coaches that you need to kind of get to know and get on. Not to say that like their good side, but I don't know that like I just we talked about my route a little bit, but I just felt like I never really got to showcase my true talents to what I'm saying, just the
mhm.
coach at hand. It was always kind of one after another. So, I mean, coming in, I don't know how'd that feel mentally. Like, did that struggle? Was that a challenge? Thinking you're gonna come in as a receiver, move to corner, now safety.
No,
I mean, or were you willing to be coachable? I mean, as a college athlete, being coachable and teachable, even as a high school athlete, are just two just important factors to be as a player and just as a um, kid on the team.
absolutely. I think definitely. I mean, like it kind of. I think senior year of high school kind of prepared me for that. Like being a receiver for 3 straight years and then having to switch over to safety and learn something completely different. Um, but I think the scariest part about it, bro, coming in was when I came in that January, there were so many guys. So like I said, it was committed under Bush Jones. He had left right before I got there, right? This the semester before I got there, or season before I got there. So during that transition, Tuberville didn't keep a lot of guys out of that class. And I had just made the cusp. I know at one point in time, between me and EJ, so it was the gray shirt, between me and EJ, they were able to choose one guy that was on the gray shirt is out of me and EJ who they would bring up first. And they ended up bringing up EJ. So and that's why I had to sit because they only had one scholarship left for that season. And that's why I had to sit that semester and that season. And once that coaching changes, bro, I'm over here like, okay, I'm looking at all the people that dropped out from the classes supposed to be coming in with me. I'm like, okay, they pulled his scholarship, they pulled his scholarship, they pulled his scholarship. I'm like, oh, so are they about to pull mine? Come to find out, the reason why my scholarship did not get pulled was because I was a local guy and they didn't want to lose the local recruiting. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And,
Perks
I
perks
think that
of
was the
being a midi.
scariest part, bro.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Nah.
Just the unknown of, am I still going to be on scholarship? Do I need to find another school? I think that was the scariest part. I mean, the position changed. Now, like you said, I was just coachable when it came to that aspect. I just wanted to play and I just wanted to win.
Mhm.
So I mean, that part was easy, bro. Just learning the game, and it kind of helped me understand everything. You got to learn corner. Okay, now that helps me with safety because I know where the corner should be, how I can help him. You know what I mean? So I mean that worked out for itself, clearly.
Yeah. Nah, man, for sure. I mean, what would you say your biggest, I don't know, not to say like, what are your biggest challenges um kind of moving into college? Like, I don't know, if you could, like I said, go back and tell yourself from high school, but in college, what were the challenges, obstacles that you had to overcome, doing things differently? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot in 4 years, but what would you kind of look at doing differently
As
that
I was coming in,
yeah,
um, I mean, one thing would have been the weight room, because
yeah.
even that first year, I was still like not really pushing myself in the weight room.
Who
But
was it
I
who
think
was it Lawson that was there?
it was Walker.
Walker.
Hmm.
Okay. Coach Walker.
Well, I'm glad you
Jeez.
brought up Dave. It was Dave Lawson, right?
Yeah, he
I'm
was
glad you brought him up. On my official visit, he had me work out. So yeah, I'm glad. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm glad, but like I wasn't looking forward to that strength program, bro. Because working out in jeans is crazy. But
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the weight room is definitely something I would have took serious going in my first year. But I just think I don't want to say I would do it differently, but I think I would have been more of a sponge my first year and just taking it all in and not being so me versus everybody because I'm trying to earn the spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, coming in, like everybody, and it wasn't really the pros, but everybody fighting for a position. You know what I mean? So it's like I
Oh,
wasn't
right.
too friendly with a lot of people, and I wasn't gonna say I was sitting there rude or butthole, but I wasn't seeking out friendships. Like, nah, if it
Yeah.
happened, it happened. Cool, like it's natural. But like, I wasn't about to go be cool with this guy. Just nah.
Right.
I'm sitting here. I'm trying to earn a spot on this team. Like,
Yeah, you ain't gonna
it ain't
play
no
that game.
friends. Yeah, yeah.
I get
And
it.
I
I
wish
mean,
I'd have did that differently because that's just not. I don't think that's the way to go about it because then you drive wedges in between you and what could be something great with somebody else. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, there's going into college, bro, there's a lot of egos, high
Mm-hmm.
testosterone, the guys from where they went to high school, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Top recruits in their city, state. So like you're competing with a lot of folks that like, I don't know, think they're the man too. So
Right.
it's
Everybody coming in as a man, bro. So yeah,
yeah,
that was
that that
one
is
thing I
that
would have did differently.
yeah. No, that is a hard transition. I remember shoot. It was the first week I came in. It was within 7 days. We was having them morning workouts and
Mm.
it was two cats. I ain't gonna throw it out there. I mean, anybody went to UC
I heard the
knows,
stories.
but it was a receiver and a DB. I'm not even too sure. It might have been over a female or something. But long story short, they was throwing hands,
Yeah,
and one
it
dude
get crazy in
picks
life.
another up in the middle of the locker room, bro. This is 7 days in, mind you,
So
and
you
then
like, wait, what is this?
oh, bro, I'm like, damn. I guess if I'm gonna have to throw
We
down,
gonna
then
have to
shit,
fight.
we gonna have to throw down. But them was one was a senior. I think one just graduated, and one was a junior or senior. So I mean, these they ain't no 17, 18 year olds.
Right,
These
grown
grown,
man.
you know what I'm saying, grown folks trying to, or I guess, yeah, grown young adults just, you know what I'm saying. I don't know. It was crazy. It was surreal. Just kind of looking back, and just it's kind of something where I'm like, damn. Oh no,
Yeah, I don't know
if we
this for
go
me.
if we throw that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, I mean, I guess from freshman year to senior year, I mean, how was not to say college like? I mean, it was very successful on your behalf. I mean, we could look at the stat sheet when it comes to overall tackles. What is it? Top 10, maybe?
Uh, I think I'm leading in DBs, and then I'm top five. I want to say, or we can say top 10. Top
No,
10.
no. If it's top five,
I
top
can't
five, top
remember.
five.
I because for some reason seven sitting in my head, so I'm just gonna say top 10. But yeah, man, it's
Yeah, not a lot of people can say that, bro. A lot of cats put on that black and red, bro. When it comes to doing it, bro, I mean, you can say you did it. So I mean, I guess college wise, I don't know what gave you that drive. Was it like from high school, kind of being the underdog, just like kind of creating that, just not to say villain mindset, but like you came in
nah,
here,
and you can say that, bro, because man, it's crazy once we get to talking about it, because the way it all transpired is kind of crazy. So mind you, I ended up finding out that I was only kept on scholarship because I was a local guy. You know what I mean? That was literally the only reason why. So I got that in my head. Um, so that kind of like sparked a flame in me. Like, nah, I'm better than just a local guy that you just want to keep just for morale and buying, getting community buy-in.
right?
So that was kind of a thing, man. And
Also,
I,
being a gray shirt, bro, like putting you on the back
yeah,
burner,
yeah,
that makes you feel a certain type of way, like not coming in the summer, getting the summer workouts with all the other cats that
I'm
came in
playing
our
catch up.
class.
At that time, I'm playing catch up with the guys in my class. And then honestly, like even though I started 4 years, bro, I felt like every year I had to prove myself. Like, and it, like I'm not sitting here and saying like things should be catered to me, but like, dude, I came in so freshman year in camp. I'm coming into camp and I'm the starting nickel, but then they're bringing in my boy Mike Tyson. They bringing in Mike Tyson. And literally, dude, I'm running with the ones, but he gets on camp. We get the depth chart, and I bump down to three. I'm like, bro, I was just the one. I haven't done anything, right? I'm balling out. I haven't done anything.
Yeah,
But Mike gets there, and they bump him to a one, and I get bumped down. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, okay. So I got to fight to get back up there, and then eventually I did. It was no, I mean, me and Mike are good friends to this day. It was no ill will. It wasn't Mike. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that the coaches seen him. That's what I mean. They recruited him, and that's the guy that they
yeah,
wanted there. You know what I mean? So
right.
I mean, I understand that. But that will add a little fuel to it. Like, all right, bro, I'm not gonna sit here and put this work in just for y'all to have another guy come in here and just automatically replace me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which I mean, fast forward, you, what Mike has done, proof is in the pudding. Like he was a dude, like
Oh,
flat out,
bro,
he was a dude. So
absolutely.
that's not to say not taking nothing from Mike, but I was just like, yeah, okay. So I got to work even harder. Boom, and even freshman year, I think my coaches that year, like Clint Scale he stayed on me, and forever grateful for him. Stephen Clint Scale, he's at Michigan now, but he stayed on me. Like he pushed me. I mean, we would literally get into verbal altercations, but it was for the better on my end. Like he was telling me things that I needed to hear, and me being that young freshman as hot headed as felt like he had to prove himself. I wasn't hearing any of that. You know what I mean? So we would bicker back and forth and looking back on it and actually talking to him about those things after things got heated. Like I understood what he was trying to bring to the table. You know what I mean? I understood what he was saying. So I mean he always kept me leveled, and then uh, the guy Art, I can't think of his last name, but he was the DC.
Hmm.
I remember I went out there freshman year, opening game, starting nickel against Purdue. Boom. I think it might have been the first.
Kaufman.
Yep, Kaufman. Yep.
Yeah.
So first possession, bro. Uh, it's one of the hottest days in Nipper history.
Was it Purdue?
It
Is
was
that what,
Purdue.
well, the whiteout? Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
whiteout
that,
fans
that
passing out, ambulance in
yeah.
and out. So I want to say it's the first possession, bro. I'm out there nickel, bug eye, wide eye, freshman, a buck 80. Buck 80. No, freshman year I was buck 72. Buck 72, bro. Out there, boom. I lose leverage. They receiver, I mean the running back bounced it outside. I lost leverage. I end up catching him on the sideline. Strip. We recovered. We go in and score. I come off the sideline high. I'm,
Oh yeah.
dabbing everybody up, jumping. The DC Cup, stash it. Boom. Art. Kaufman. Coach Kaufman, come stash me up. You lost leverage. You're fired. I'm like, what? So I went on the bench and tucked my tail head down. Like, bro, I just made a
he
play
said he said you're
in
fired.
Nippert. Bro, I made a play. We turned. He kept
Yeah,
saying fire. I said, ah. So I mean, they pushed me, dog. So I think that was what it was. And then, like I said, every year I felt like I was fighting to prove myself. Like, and I mean that was just me. I never wanted to, like, I demanded so much of myself. So I mean I could have been feeling like they were making me prove myself every year, but I mean that was just something I wanted to do anyways, just prove myself. Like, 'cause that's one thing you learn in college, bro. They're recruiting to replace you, like flat out. Like every year, Clink told me that I got a guy coming in. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
I got a guy coming in. Okay, like,
right,
and I mean, and I think that was to push me to not get complacent. But like, I mean, that's one thing you never had to worry about when it came to football with me. Like, I wasn't going to get complacent because I always wanted to outwork everybody because I knew I wasn't athletically as gifted as a lot of people. So my whole mindset was just outworking everybody, bro. So I
yeah.
mean,
It
and then
worked out.
I mean, everybody knows the head man in charge at the time didn't really take too kindly of me. So I mean, that was another factor. Because I mean, I was an outspoken character, but I was outspoken in a sense of holding everybody accountable and wanting to win. I mean, I think in hindsight, looking back on it, do I think I could have took a step back? But I just think the competitive fire in me, I couldn't. Like, I just wanted to win.
Right,
Let's do things to win. You know what I mean? And
right.
I feel like there were times where a lot of people weren't on that same page, and I could not say anything. I would be doing myself and the team a disservice if I didn't say anything. Is how I looked at it back then.
Nah, bro. I mean, you got to have that leadership. You got to have that vocal leadership too. I mean, you got to be the guy also leading by example.
Yeah,
So I mean, it sound. I mean, I seen it firsthand. I mean, you were definitely one that like was for the best interests of the team, the defense, wanting to just the betterment out of everybody, bringing the fire out, the dog out, no matter how you had to, what I'm saying, get them going. But that's just football though for you on the sidelines. Like people see them
yeah,
clips, especially like in the NFL, and I mean you don't know what happens behind closed doors and in them locker rooms. There'd be some heated discussions, and I mean it needs
for
to be
sure.
had because I don't know. That's something looking back. I was just more of a lead by example guy. So like being a vocal leader is something where it was just like I'm just letting my play do the talk. Um,
Hmm.
and that was where like it worked in high school, but college, it's just you got to kind of like set that precedent. You got to set the standard, and
Yeah,
you definitely did that when it comes to having what was the black cats.
Black Cats, baby.
Black cats, the defense, the DBs, just getting them all aligned, bro, and just especially at a young age, being like a freshman out there doing it, it ain't for everybody.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean, the first year, what I'm saying, you said 172
yeah, bro.
coming in. What? Just tell the people, what'd you graduate at weight wise?
I want to say 155. It was between the
No,
155.
no, I'm saying from
Oh,
freshman year
college.
to senior year. What was
Oh
your
man,
weight?
I graduated.
172 to
I left out 215, bro.
dang. That's I got
215,
mind my math. That's about 40 pounds you put on
and
right
it
there.
sucked.
You said what?
It sucked. All
Yeah.
40 pounds sucked. I hated it. I
No,
hated it.
I mean you adapted to the weight though. Gradually started putting on more mass and finally hitting the gym.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean that comes with college, bro. It's just crazy the transformations that people see going into college from when they were in high school. Even
Mm-hmm.
myself, like I was a little bit on the other end of the spectrum, bro. Like I came in like I came in, I had the nickname Poncho, but I also had a nickname. It was 218. I came in 218 pounds, bro.
Huge.
Big, big. And like I ended up getting down to like 205, and like that was like a good moving weight. 200 to 205 was kind of like my best weight I was playing at. Got up to like 210 range, but that was right when I came in. So
Mm,
I mean, as a freshman coming in, bro, if you got that weight, you could probably do what they were trying to do and put some more weight on, move them to linebacker or just however things
yeah.
go. But yeah, I ended up cutting weight when I kind of came in. I was a little bit, yeah, I was a little fluffy. They shed that baby weight quick.
Yeah, quick. Yeah.
So let's see. I mean, success wise, what was you guys not to say records? But like I know it was the first year you came in. Did you guys make the play? Did we make the playoffs? It was the
Was
Belk Bowl again.
Belt Bowl.
Okay.
Um,
Then was it a miss? No play. No.
nah, it was Belt Bowl, Military Bowl, and then it was or it might have been vice versa. I know I went to Belt Bowl, Military Bowl, and then the Hawaii Bowl, and then missed
Okay.
out my senior year on bowl.
Okay. So yeah, it was. Yeah, you're correct because military bowl was out in DC.
DC. Yep.
Um, that was a good time. Went out there, checked the fellas out. Um, but I guess I don't know from explain to the bowl gifts. How was that? That kind of treatment, that kind of life. Like I mean, for people in college, you go to bowl games, you getting you getting lined up with gifts and just gear. And obviously, you're playing in the bowl game to win. But I actually just recently found my Belk Bowl gift card. I still
Really?
had it. Yeah, and it was funny because I checked to see how much was on it. It's still like $30 on it. So
What?
I gave it to my girl to use it, but it was just funny because like I think it was $500 gift card
Yeah,
they gave
they
us.
yeah they load you up, man. They definitely took care of you on the bowls. A lot of I think that was that. Nah, what I can't remember what year it was. One year, oh, it might have been a Hawaii Bowl. One year, uh, I think that might have been the worst year as far as like gifts. But I think they tried to say we was going to Hawaii, so that was part of the gift. But they gave us like watches. They were
Ah,
like, "Oh, I want this watch."
you weren't messing with the watch. I think I
Nah, I
had
mean
that.
it broke. It
It,
broke.
it
So
was the fossil. It was
yeah,
the belt.
was
It
that
was the belt bowl.
belt ball? Okay, yeah. So the
Yeah,
belt ball. Yeah.
mine broke too. Yeah,
Yeah. And I got
that's,
another one and then that one broke. I was like, yeah, okay.
uh,
Uh but yeah. I mean those I mean, I think being out, I mean you can get like a few days there, maybe 5 days there to that destination, which is I think Hawaii was a week. But I mean that time away with your team in a different location was because you actually really had to look out for each other. I mean DC being one of them, you had to look out for each other. Um, so I think that experience was. I mean, it treated me well. I can't speak for everybody. I know the Hawaii Bowl treated everybody well. Hence
oh
the score.
man,
Hence the score. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and that's like,
it
man,
was.
it's crazy, bro. Because that's one of the bowl games I really wanted to win. So I was like locked in. Like, soon as like I forget what day we played on, but like 2 days before then, I was locked in. So it wasn't really. I ain't on the beach hanging out. But everybody else hanging out, I'm like, all right. And then come game time, and like if you knew me back then, I was having a good time before games. Like I was pretty lax all the way up until the day before the game. Uh, and then I try to lock in, but for some reason, the Hawaii Bowl, out of all bowls, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to lock in. I ain't really here to have vacation. I'm here to win a bowl game. You know what I mean? And that could come from losing the last two bowl games. I really wanted to win one. Uh, but yeah, I was like one of the only ones that was locked in and like chilling. And then we go out there and get smoked by San Diego State, bro. I
San
mean,
Diego.
smoked. They took the opening kickoff return to the career,
Ugh,
and the rest was downhill. I will say, I got the MVP for the team though. So
look
me,
at you. There
I
you go.
guess me not going out and hanging out paid off. But like, I would have much rather have won that game than that. But
Right. Hey, at the end of the day, y'all still everybody got a ring. Everybody got a bowl
yeah,
ring.
yeah,
It ain't
that
the, you know what I'm saying, the
It was the start of the participation trophies.
Right, right. Um, nah, I mean, I guess what would you say? A lot of highs, a lot, some challenges. I don't know. What was your best experience in college playing football, being a Division 1 athlete, being on scholarship? Um, what would you say is your best kind of experience in the 4 years? Kind of, I mean, was it just the you know what I'm saying, the bowl games? Was it the time with the fellas? Was it the summer workouts? Higher ground? What
Uh,
would you what would you say is I don't know, your best experience? And then I also want to hear what was kind of the not to say worst experience, but what were things you were struggling with?
the best. I mean, and it's kind of like cumulative of all 4 years is like the connections that I've made with people, um, and like how far that's even taken me to this day. Like, there's so many people that I've connected with at UC older, um, that I still keep in touch with to this day because of that. You know what I mean? Because of the relationship that was built due to the fact of me going to the University of Cincinnati. I mean, I got my first coaching job in Middletown back home, due to the fact that the head coach also played at Cincinnati. We didn't know of each other because he was, I think he played in the '90s, but um, he heard that I was a UC guy that played there as well. So like he gave me an interview, and then after that interview, I mean everything went uphill from there, like downhill. I don't know how you would say it, but in a positive way. With Don Simpson, like it's not much more I can thank that guy for giving me an opportunity. And I think it all stemmed from me one being a Middletown guy, but then having the credit to say that I was a Bearcat. I mean that goes a long way with a lot of people, especially in this area.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think just the relationships that were built and just being able to say I was a Bearcat was the best thing, best experience that I can say I dealt with.
Yeah, I mean Cincinnati network wise, I mean, is endless. I don't think at that age, kind of when we're in college, we kind of see all the opportunities, all the just things at the palm of our hand, just when it comes to reaching out and having those kind of mentors or let's just say leaders in the field, whether it be coaches at a high school or just like business people that come to UC and watch the games and are in the locker room. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like when you're in college, if you can just utilize that network and just that CPAL, especially in Cincinnati, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to kind of get your name out there.
Absolutely.
So was that after, right after college, or
No, it was a few years after. I mean, I was still trying to play ball. So
yeah? So I mean, still trying to play ball. I know there's kind of a little bit of years after college. Tell us about that. What was kind of the football life like after college was all said and done, and you know what I'm saying, trying to try out for the NFL, trying to, you know what I'm saying,
it was, I mean,
make a team.
it was a struggle, man. I mean, and then I think more of it was more on my part. You get your projections and whatnot, where you mock drafts and all that. Agents telling you this and that. So I mean, I don't think for me, I didn't take it serious enough as far as like the training aspect, and I think that's what kind of hindered me. But I mean, if we want to go back, you want to talk about some of the lows, and I think this also stems to the life after college football and trying to play. Um, so a lot of people know. I mean, a few people have heard this story about an experience that I had when I was in school. I don't think I've told my parents this, so I'm sorry, mom and dad. That this might be the first time you're hearing it. But 2014, bro, was by far. I want to say 2014, and then my senior, by far the worst years I've had mentally. Um, to go into the sophomore year, uh, there was an experience like I want to say it was either the beginning of the season or right before the season started, bro. Um, I had somebody say some allegations that weren't true, but it hindered me that entire season. Uh, so I had somebody say some things happened that didn't happen. That's not how it went down. So with all that, like, dude, I was, and that happened to be an athlete. Um, and that a lot of people don't know. 2014 statistically was probably my best year, like out of all 4 years. Probably my best year statistically. But dude, with that being an athlete, we had to one, well, not we, I had to one distance myself. So therefore, I couldn't go to training tables because I was in the facility. I couldn't go to the athletics at like the training room. It had to be a certain hour, and that was like right when they were about to close. Couldn't go to the calf, and if you know at UC, the calf was the spot, and that was like the meals, the only meals we were getting, other than
Right.
training table. So like
Right.
that's the only like way you could eat. So I couldn't go there, restricted there. Um, Weight room, I was restricted. So basically, I was confined to my dorm room. Like it was at one point in time, I can't remember who it was, bro. Like I'm sitting there, like we got to figure something out, bro, because I'm in the middle of the season and I'm not eating. And I forget who it was, bro. They told me to pack a lunch. With what money? Like what money I have to pack a lunch? You know what I'm saying? And then mind you, I'm not telling my parents because everything's under investigation. So I have to be hush hush, can't say anything, can't say anything because everything's under investigation, and I don't want to say certain things to where certain people get jailed or whatever the case may be, right? And this is all through the school, like all through the school, like from Title IX all the way down. So I couldn't say anything to anybody. So like I'm literally in my dorm room day in day out with this sitting over my head. I'm like, dude, this ain't even me. So for this to be said about me is just killing me. One, because if you knew me when I was in school, bro, I was the one of the funnest dudes to be around, like flat out. Like I was just, we everybody was here to party, have a good time, make sure everybody's smiling, laughing, joking. That was just me. So I'm dealing with that, bro, and like, and it was like the worst when everybody like, hey, bro, let's go to the calf. I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. Mind you, I'm sitting here starving, but like a lot of people don't know, like, bro, why you ain't trying to go to the calf? This one we in CRC, yeah, CRC. Bro, why you ain't trying to go to the calf? Bro, nah, bro, I'm good, bro. And my CRC is right above the cast. So like that's just a hop, skip, and a jump. And that was
Yeah.
our kicking spot. Like late night, go get a bowl of cereal. The calf closed for real, but you go get you a bowl of cereal. So I mean, and my teammates don't know the things that I'm dealing with. So they trying to do things that we normally do that I can't do. And they looking at me like, bro, what's going on? Like, I'm like, nah, bro, just I ain't really feeling it. And the whole time I'm supposed to keep that. I think this is another part. The whole time I'm supposed to keep that, like everything under wraps and it's under investigated. It's like gotta keep everything quiet. It wasn't the same for the other party that it was involved with, bro. Because I'm having people that are around that party that I'm cool with now distancing themselves away from me, and I'm like, what's going on? All right. So now I'm like, okay, so something must have been said to them to where now they want to act weird and don't want to be cool with me. But then come to find out later on, like, yeah, we heard about what's going on. We didn't really believe it at all. Clearly because of, I mean, I guess there's other signs of why they shouldn't believe it, which I mean, it clearly wasn't true. On why they shouldn't believe it. And they came back and told me, like, yeah, we just had to be that way because I mean, that was teammates, so we just had to do that for the team. But we never not believed you. That's just what we were told we had to do. Which I think is weird that one party can say something, but then I can't say something. I can't be like open. Like, dude, when I found out that was a thing, I had to meet with Tuberville, and this is where everything went downhill. And this is how it transpires to how my career after football was. Dude, I sat down with him, bro. He called me into his office. I sat down with him, and I'm sitting across. And this is probably, I kid you not, first time I'm ever in his office. And he's like, yeah, so we gotta talk. I'm like, all right, yeah, because I already know what's going on. Dude, and he's just sitting here with this thick knife, bro, on his desk, just sitting there twirling it around as he's talking to me. So kind of like an intimidation factor. I'm like, so I'm sitting there the whole time. I'm not really hearing what he's saying, but I'm looking at him like, bro, what's going on? Like
Right.
why is you got this knife all in my face on your desk? And we go through that whole situation. He talks to me, talking about like, and basically telling me what I gotta do and what I gotta not do, which I already knew because they put it in the paper. Um, but then fast forward, bro, and this is like I think once I know I just said earlier how I was a little vocal. Um, so Ohio State week, it comes down maybe fourth quarter. I give up a touchdown, bro. And like I said earlier, I'm like the hardest on myself. I demand so much of myself. They kept running the post, bro. Post, because we were rolling the cover three. So They kept running the post away from where we were rolling to. So it's late in the fourth quarter. I jump it. Devin Smith, I remember like yesterday. I jumped the post. He come back with a corner. Boom, back of the end zone. Touchdown.
Mm.
I come off the field. Clink talking to me. And Tubbs come up to me. He like, um, what happened? And I just said, I effed up. Like I took it to the chin. Like I was already feeling like terrible. I'm like, damn, I just gave up a touchdown. And it's crunch time. Like we on the verge. Like we keeping the game close. We should have won. He like, right, you gave up a touchdown. You effed up. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like I'm telling him, I know. As Clink's pulling me and we walking to the bench, bro. He follows me all the way to the bench, bro. Mind you, this whole situation's still going on, right? He's saying, you shouldn't even be like literally in front of everybody. You shouldn't even be on this team. I should have even kicked you off. And this is like during this whole like nothing's
In the
been
game.
resolved. Yeah, nothing's been resolved. Nothing's been okay. You did it. You didn't do it. But he's literally in his mind. I did it. Like he's like, oh yeah, I should have kicked you off the team. You shouldn't even be here right now. And I'm like, what? And then Clink even had to step in. Like what? So it's like I think that relationship right there, like that situation, just went ahead and terminated our relationship because I don't think me and him ever spoke the rest of it like the time being there other than senior year when we had senior meetings. Other than that, like I stayed away from him because I like for one I felt like in the office he was trying to intimidate me, which I mean it is what it is. And then that altercation right there as a young man, feeling like you're back against the wall and nobody's on your side, and then to have somebody who's supposed to be your coach, your mentor, your leader, already basically showing his hand that he doesn't believe in you in such a serious situation, just like that just terminated our whole whatever it was. And I think that transpired to continue for the rest of my time there. And then even after, because I think coaches play a lot into your career after college. And I don't think I got the upper hand when it came to that, just because of how vocal I was, that situation, and how he didn't agree with it or whatever the case may be. And then I don't know, it's just a situation that, dude, I was literally. I know I said I came in at 172 freshman year. I might have been down to 160 something throughout that entire process because I wasn't eating. Mind you, I'm still dealing with that, but like it's just it goes to show like how things can bother you mentally, and then you can persevere like physically, I guess so to say. But
Right.
yeah, that was by far my worst year, bro. And that whole year, I'm dealing with that whole investigation and those restrictions that entire time, bro. And it was like literally the worst time. And I think that transpired, like I said, the rest of the years there. I got
So that was your sophomore year,
sophomore year,
2014.
sophomore year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that
So
was
I
sophomore.
mean, I guess not to say how that all kind of hindered the rest of your career and kind of post career. Um, but I guess looking back at what you did and how that all kind of transpired, do you think there could have been anything that could have been prevented? I mean, it also is like a testament to who the leader is, who the coach is, the top dog, the head dog. If he's treating these players like that, starters, and he's not even giving them the benefit of the doubt, let alone even in the court system, innocent until proven guilty. If he's just like kind of throwing you to the fire, it's like, you know what I'm saying? What else can you do? I don't know. It's kind of unfortunate that you had to go through that. And just when it comes,
And then even with that, I think that was like the start of it, bro. But there was so much more, bro. Like I got kicked out of the weight room senior year for like an entire week, because we had a bye week. So we worked out all the way up until Saturday, and then so I think we worked out all the way up until Friday. I want to say Friday, and we had that Saturday. We didn't have a game, but he wanted us to come in for a recovery lift. I'm like, dude, I haven't been home. Like, cause I know I live close, but I never really went home. one, my uncle never wanted me to come home because there wasn't nothing there for me. But like, I just never went home. So I'm like, dude, it's a bye week, bro. It's been a long week. I'm about to go home and I'm about to just chill. Like, I'm about to take this weekend. And so I didn't come in that Saturday. Mind you, I'm not the only person that doesn't come in. And this is how I know it was more of a targeted thing. Because I wasn't the only person that didn't come in. I wasn't the only senior either that wasn't come in on that Saturday. And mind you, I'm not on campus. A couple of these seniors were on campus still, but didn't go. Dude, I came in that next day. I want to say it was a Monday or it might have been a Sunday evening. I came in and I walked down there, with a couple guys laughing, joking, ready to work out. Coach Walker like, "Edwards, what you doing?" I said, "Don't we got a lift?" He said, "They do, you don't. You can get out of my weight room and don't come back." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you didn't want to come for Saturday." I'm like, "Dude," and it's crazy because all they did that Saturday, bro, was like eat like breakfast sandwiches, bro, and like a recovery like stretch. I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, you wanted to be rebellious and not come." Like, I went home, dude. Like, and so I got kicked out, bro. And Gilham at the time, Saints coach didn't even know I was kicked out. Like the only reason he knew because I was in his film room, and there's one day he came down early. He's like, "What are you doing?" I tried to lift it. Like, "Nah, I've been kicked out of the weight room for like a week now." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." Like, and it was so messed up, bro, because a couple of strength coaches knew that it was messed up to where like when the weight room was closed, they'd shoot me a text like, "Hey, I'm down in the weight room if you want to come get a lift." Like that's how they knew it was messed up. And then fast forward, bro, it was senior night, and it was the week of senior night, like that following week, and I had to go in and sit down with Tuberville and man Gene's office, and he's giving me his whole spiel like, "Yeah, I shouldn't start you. You shouldn't play this week because that was just uncalled for and not what a senior should do um, going into this week. Yeah, it was a bye week, but you were required to be here. So we're thinking about not even playing you." I'm like, "Damn, senior night?" I said, I said, "Okay." So I'm sitting there, mind you, we already got the relationship we got, bro, with me and
Right.
Tuberville. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, all right. He's like, "Yeah, but if you want to play, you're going to have to go in here and apologize to all your teammates." So I had to stand in front of the team and apologize for not being there. And I did, like it was what it was, but like everybody, like as I'm apologizing, they all look at me like, "What are you apologizing for?" Like, like so serious. Everybody looking like, "What?" And mind you, it was two or three other starters on the defense that didn't show up that same day, but it was only me that had to sit there and apologize in front of the whole team. And I just thought like, and then I think that just goes for coaches like vouching for you, bro. Like I think at that point in time, he has so much say so and power over some of the coaches to where I was behind the eight ball every day. And that goes back to when I said I was competing for a spot every year, bro. Like
Right.
legit. I was competing for a spot every year. Because every chance he got, he tried to replace me. I mean, I made it hard for him. Like, because I didn't do anything outside of that. Like, yeah, I was a butthole when it came to wanting to win. Like, I'm going to call you out if you're not doing what we're supposed to do to win. Like,
Hmm.
and then coach I would try to be respectful. Like, "Hey, coach, what are y'all doing?" Like, be plenty of times we coming in from a practice and offensive guys, we cooking them in practice. And they like, "Oh, you know our plays." No, we don't, dude. Y'all telegraph everything. And we got coaches coming in laughing. I'm like, "Dude, we just torched y'all." Like,
Right.
and it goes to show how that senior year went. Like, our offense wasn't as good. You know what I mean? And I think we went 7 straight quarters without scoring a touchdown. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it showed, and that me being a senior year, bro, I'm trying to win. I think we went 4-8, but I'm like, I'm trying to win. Like, I'm not trying to be rude to y'all, but I need I need you to at least look like you care. You don't even look like you care. And I think that was the struggle. And luckily, we had a close knit group of seniors where we got to a point like, bro, we're just gonna play for each other, and we win, we win, we lose, we lose. Like it got to a point where, rest in peace, Dowdy, man. But me and him would be like, I would like, we'd go get a 3 and out, they go turnover. I'm yelling at him and Tion as they're coming off because like, dude, we just sat down and I'm cussing them out. And they got to a point like this is how bad it was, or how bad they thought it was, to where they separated us on the sideline. Like the defense couldn't tell. And mind you, we're a team, and if you know us, offensive defense, like me, Tion, Dowdy, we were all close. Like we would talk like brothers. and we hold each other accountable. Like when the defense messed up, they held us accountable. It came to a point, bro, where they said the offense can't talk to defense, defense can't talk to the offense. And this is during games, bro. Like you can't say nothing to them. And we're all like, what? And like the coaches would come as each team is coming off, coaches would stand in between so you couldn't talk to them. Like that's how it ended up being ran towards the end. I mean, I think that 4-8 showed it, bro, and it was sad because I think we had a really good team. But
I
I was
mean, I
just
think that
small games.
unfortunately is just from the top down, just
Mm,
not a good relaying of messaging or just just not really having like a chain of command.
yeah,
For like seniors accountability to like the assistant coaches doing what needs to be done to the leader, the head coach being vocal and either calling shit out what needs to be called out, but not like playing that one game that
yeah,
sounds like he was playing with a lot
and
of just that the mind game. I mean,
yeah, and I
I don't
think at
know.
that point we didn't need that. But I mean, I don't know. I think we just got him on his back end, bro, and so it wasn't as in I don't. Which I mean, I don't know. I don't know his mindset. I don't know who he like. I really don't know who he is as a person. But I just feel like we didn't get everything out of him, and it was more of like just we chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I mean, just being there, it didn't really seem like there was a lot of times he didn't seem present, and I don't know if that was like just things he had going on in life or what the case may be. But I just think we got as a senior class, I think we got the wrong end of the stick, so to say. But I mean, like I said, I enjoyed my 4 years, well, technically 3.5 at Cincinnati. I wouldn't change it at all.
yeah,
But I mean, I would say that was the biggest low for me
yeah,
because there was uh, thoughts of taking my life, especially at that point in time, because I felt like I was so alone. But I
right.
mean, God willing, I'm still here today. But
Amen.
yeah, that was a tough year, and it kind of made the rest of the years a little bit tougher. But I mean, they were better than that one. I will say that. It was just like I was always behind the 8 ball from that point on, which
Yeah,
sucked.
but I
I
mean,
mean, we grow, we learn from those things, man.
yeah. I mean, hearing just that story and just the challenges you overcome. I mean, sounds like you've always kind of felt like you've had a target on your back.
Mm,
Um, and just also just kind of like I said, the underdog story, the villain, just always feeling like you need to kind of prove yourself, prove your worth. Which I mean, you could look at it at two things. Like you can feel like, dang, like what I'm saying, feel bad for yourself, but then also you can like what you did and just make the most out of it. Kind of take the best things that you can from negative situations and still try to have the best, what I'm saying, time, have the best season, try to be successful. Um, I mean, I guess from all that you experience, all that kind of you went through in college, um, how did that transition like outside of college? Like when that you see that CPAW, what I'm saying? You're not rocking that anymore. How did kind of all those experiences, did you feel like, um, I guess, did you feel like, I don't know, you had more left in the tank? Do you feel like, I don't know, you kind of had more to prove? Did you still feel like you've got a target on your back coming out of college, going to, what I'm saying, just from the next, I know there's even, I know you were getting recruited to possibly play CFL.
yeah,
That was during COVID, roughly, or not
yeah, it
that.
was 2020. Yeah, I actually signed. It's crazy 'cause I signed two contracts. One was like right as COVID happened, and then one was coming out of it. But at that point, they still were on. Canada was still strict on the rules, so they still cut the traffic coming up to Canada. So they
Right,
actually ended up pulling both of those contracts. Which I mean, it happened. I mean, I believe God has a plan for everything, and
right,
that's what kept me afloat to this day. Um,
yeah. I mean,
but
you
yeah, I
said
mean,
2020.
mhm.
What about the 5 years from graduating at 2015? What was
Well,
going
I
on
went
in
off.
between?
I had mini camps with Tampa Bay Bucks, and then I had mini camp with the Colts, and then there was another one with the Eagles, but it was the same day as the Colts. And those didn't work out. Uh, but the typical thing, stay ready. We might call you. And I was training. I was still training. And I think that next year or the following year, I kept training, but I really wasn't diving into work. I'm like, dude, I'm I gotta work, get a job, do something. And I think that's when I decided, like, all right, bro, I'm about to just go ahead and dive into coaching. And because I did a summer league, I think it was spring league. I did a spring league. It was your call football. It's down in Florida. Played in that around some great talent. But after that, I'm like, dude, all right, I'm not able to be one of those guys that just wastes his life away. Which I mean, some people, I don't want to say waste your life away, but I'm not going to sit here and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying when I can go ahead and start my career. So I knew at one point I wanted to be a coach. So it's like, all right, why not start it now? You know what I mean? And that's kind of where that transpires. Like I was like, all right, I'm done. So I was not doing anything football related, and then my agent called me like, hey, I can get you up to Canada. That was in 2020, 2019, 2020. And I'm like, all right, it's out of nowhere. Cause I told him like I'm done. I literally texted him and said, yeah, man, I'm going to hang it up, go ahead and start coaching. He's like, all right, well, if you get to the higher level, I can represent you with coaching too. I was like, all right, cool. And then that year came and said, yeah, I'll get you a contract up in Canada. I was talking about it was for Edmonton. So I get you a contract for Edmonton. I have them send it over. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, I'm coaching, so I ain't really worried about playing. But then that come, it must be something. You know what I mean? So uh, I ended up signing those contracts. Kind of took a year off, or I won't say a year off, because I ended up going back once they pulled the contract. Ended up going back and coaching, but yeah, throughout that time it was just I had those mini camps. I played in the spring league, and then after that spring league, I just got into coaching.
Gotcha. Now, how long you been coaching at
This is year 7, and I thought it was 6, but time flies when you're having fun. I'll tell you that. Time flies when you're having fun.
7 years at the high school level, huh?
Yes, sir. Varsity high school level. I did 5 for Middletown, and then this past year I was at Moeller, and then I'm going into my second year at Moeller. Grateful to be in the position I am, both when I was at Middletown and now at Moeller. It's just I don't know, just seeing the impact like I'm doing for these kids what my coaches did for me, and that I think that goes a long way, especially because my coaches meant the world to me. Whether that was in the moment or after, like so there's times I would give my coaches headaches, and I would think they wanted the worst from me when they really wanted the best for me. But I see that, especially at a young age, and I know I get that from some of my kids to this day. But I mean, they know that's all love, and I hope they know it's all love for the most part.
Yeah. No, I mean it's different when you're coaching, bro. Especially where you played at. That's a hits a different chord. But then, I mean, not to say his levels, but from Middletown to Moeller is a very prestigious program. I think the last 2 years you guys made semis, if I'm not
Last 3 actually,
last
but
three
yeah,
years.
state
Okay,
semis. Yeah,
which is, I mean, Moeller produces a lot of talent. Um, a lot of legends went to Archbishop Moeller. Only one I can think of right now, Ken Griffey Jr. Um, I
come
know
on,
that
bro. Talk about Cincinnati, bro. Sam Hubbard, bro. That's one of them.
Sam Hubbard.
Come
Look,
on, you can't. That's one you can't leave out now.
I'm more of a Dayton guy. I
Yeah,
know more of the 937 area, 513. I'm gonna leave that to you. Shout
yeah.
out to Sam Hubbard, Ken Griffey, Moeller in itself. But I mean, being there, bro, that's a different level of caliber of kids. Just I don't know when it comes to the buy-in process or the buy-in side and just the process of coaching and high school, bro. I don't know. It's I coached at Troy. It was a very heartfelt feeling. I'm glad I had the opportunity to do it. Unfortunately, COVID kind of happened, and I kind of transitioned out of coaching. Kind of got my career started.
Mm,
Don't really have the necessary, I guess, hours to work, and then coach
coach. Mm.
for those coaching hours. But I mean, how's I don't know. How's the coach life like, bro? I mean, what kind of advice would you give to let's just say past players, any kind of sport, football, basketball, What type of like, I don't know, sensation, what type of joy does it bring being able to coach the game you played, especially at a high level?
Man, it keeps you a part of the game. I think that's the biggest thing, especially for me. Like I'm still a football guy. Like I might not be a player, but I'm coaching players, so I'm still in the game. And if you, I mean, if you love the sport, it's hard not to be a part of it. And that's something that's why I jumped into it so quick because when I didn't have football, I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So it just keeps me a part of the game, dude. And I think that's the advice for any guy that's thinking about it that wants to do it. I would say do it because it keeps you a part of the game. I mean, it's a grind though. Like it's in some aspects, it's more of a mental grind than actually playing. Um, because I mean, you gotta out. It's chess. You know what I'm saying? It's chess at the end of the day. You gotta think about the next moves before they think about their next moves, and then okay, they thought about that, or they could be thinking about this. How am I gonna counteract that? So it's just a lot of thinking that's involved in it, and I think it's more mental when you're a coach than necessarily playing. Because when you're playing, you got coaches that's kind of telling you what to expect and what not to. But now you're the coach, so you gotta expect it. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, as for transitioning out of college, bro, like that's who we're defined as. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? As either as Zach Edwards played football at UC or whoever that did that. Like, but that's just not like that's not who we are. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We're not defined as those type of college athletes. Yeah, it was a part of our life, a part of our story. Um, it's just hard, I guess, getting out of that narrative, you know what I'm saying, that mindset when you're playing college ball and this is what you're doing 24/7 basically for 4 years of your life prior to a long period of your life kind of getting to that point. But bro, when that game is over and it's all said and done, I don't know. It's a lot of things that creep just like
Yeah.
in your head mentally. A lot of battles, a lot of figuring out who I am.
Yeah.
What do
Who
I
is the
need to do
person within
next?
the athlete? You know what I mean? Like who is that person?
Yeah. So I mean, saying that, who is Zach Edwards? What would you define yourself as?
Man, that's a tough one. Um, I would like to honestly. I would probably define myself as a mentor to life. Because I use a lot of my experiences to try to help the younger generation. And it's just, I think it just comes natural. I don't think too much about it when I do it, and I think as I'm mentoring others, I'm also mentoring myself. I know it kind of sounds weird, but like as I'm helping somebody else, I'm kind of helping myself maybe deal with something similar as I'm helping them deal with that. So I mean, I would say a mentor to life. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
know I'm coaching ball, coaching the X's and O's, but like I try to teach life more than and I was in the school system, but I had to get out of that because yeah, you have certain curriculums, but like I think we need to teach life, and I think that's who I am. I like to teach life, try to
Yeah.
keep you in the straight and narrow, and then if you veer off, okay, how we get back? Like
Right.
like what you said, it's all about the bounce back. How do we bounce back? Like
Yeah. Nah, bro. I get. I mean, people need to become teachers, and they need to give back to the kids while they're there for them for a certain period of time. As coaches, kind of giving back. I mean, it's definitely something that's rewarding, but you don't know how far it can go. Like there's some teachers I can think about, some coaches I can think about that's left like just a mark on my,
everlasting. Yeah.
yeah, an everlasting mark on just the type of person I am and just those little nuances or just the type of person that they were, bro. You never know the impact you can bring. So being a mentor, you know what I'm saying, for kids, for this, you know what I'm saying, life we're trying to figure out. It's important, bro. A lot of us need that kind of direction. They need to hear from those people that have done it.
Yeah.
I wish growing up, you know what I'm saying, that I had more mentor. I wish I even reached out. I wish I would, you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
wasn't the one to think that I kind of know it all and just, I don't know, kind of go from there. But like actually, ask those questions, see what they did wrong. Um, I guess, I mean, what advice would you give to, high school and college athletes kind of figuring out their journey? What would you say is something that they need to hear that you haven't kind of touched on just yet?
Um, I think I would just say, man, just be open, be a sponge. You know, take it all in, the good and the bad. Because I mean, you can learn from the bad just as much as the good. Uh, and everything isn't black and white. I think we said that in the last episode. Everything isn't black and white. Like
A
there
lot of
is
gray area.
there is gray area. Like, and that's it's life. Like you got to figure out how to maneuver through the gray area. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think that would be my biggest thing is just be a sponge, be open to learning. That's the biggest thing. Be open to learning. Like whether it's something that you think is right or you think is wrong, but you get that aspect. Okay, that's how that person thinks. So this is how I will approach it with them. Then I can't. That's one thing, and it's kind of with coaching. Everybody can't be coached the same way, right? And you can't relate to everybody the same way in life. You can't speak to everybody the same way in life. You have to know how to maneuver around people. And I think you do that by becoming a sponge around your environment, getting uncomfortable being, or getting comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like you might not have believe in somebody else's beliefs, but like you still take it in. Like 'cause just the same way as you don't believe in what they believe in, they might not believe in what you believe in. You know what I mean? So just being able to soak it all up and take it for what it is.
No, that's good. That's good. Sorry, man. Let's wrap it up. I'm gonna hit you
Yeah,
with one final question.
I got you.
Um, so we call it the 81 Reasons podcast. Um, what's your reason?
I think my reason is one, the man above, but I think it's my ecosystem, my support system. Like, if it wasn't for like, there's so many people that have poured into me to where I would be doing them a disservice to not try to get everything I can out of myself. You know what I mean? So, and then obviously, with the recent tragedies, I mean, that's another reason right there. I mean, gotta keep going. You know,
Yep,
do it for deeds, right?
that's
So I
it,
mean,
bro.
and, I mean, big country as well. So I mean, it's just, and I will say, I guess that I would put them in my support and my ecosystem because those were my guys. So I mean, that's another reason why. I mean, just my ecosystem, bro.
Right. Oh yeah, amen, bro. I mean, it's a testament to who we are, just our experiences, the people around us, especially the man above, just when it comes to who we are and why we're even here today. Um, but no, man, that's awesome, bro. I'm glad us folks here got a chance to hear the story of Zach Edwards.
Damn,
Um, I wish we did it justice and everything that kind of panned out in the 30 years that have came about
man.
of his story. So I appreciate everybody stopping in, checking things out. Make sure y'all tune in to the previous episode. Myself had it a few weeks back. We are still kind of getting through humps and hurdles, figuring out a format. But just know that we coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Regardless, we gotta continue to fight the good fight, bro. Do it for Deej, bro. Do it for Corey, bro. I mean, there's a lot of stories that are out here that just need to be unfolded. We're gonna get better at these questions, these interviews, just how we kind of even transition with social media and getting things out there and getting listeners. But it's one day at a time, bro. We just gotta, what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying, like you had said, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Just get through, what I'm saying, the first kind of roller coaster, figure out, what I'm saying, how things go. But I believe that at the end of the day that we'll touch a lot of people with this story and a lot of other people's stories.
for sure.
So
Sure.
thank y'all for tuning in, man. It's your boy Marcus and the co-host Zach.
Zach, baby.
So hey, it's the 81 Reasons podcast, y'all. What's your reason?
What's your reason? Find it.
Yep. All right, y'all.
Peace.